So don't try to teach them, don't try to provoke them, and don't start a fight. Don't show your camera, don't point at your camera, don't show your fingers, don't curse at them. And let's film this guy. This fucking bullying me, tailgating me for all these ways. Now he's gone, banana. Fucking can't do anything. Let's see, Iranian way on bullying people. At the ramp, this guy just tailgates me and right close me, just bumping and beeping over and over. He's in really rush, he's in hurry. It's fascinating because right after he bumped behind that another crossover car, he couldn't just bump, he couldn't just beep. This is how Iranian mentality works. Now, look at it. Another one. People are mental. I mean, they really are mental. Let me tell you some really interesting tips. Really fascinating. It's gonna blow your mind. First of all, do not try to teach anyone. Don't try to teach anyone. Don't ever say, don't even get close to them to just trying to teach them or just short a break behind them. In front of them, I'm sorry. And don't try to teach them in any way, because if they ever know anything, if they're supposed to be knowing anything, they have already know. So this has nothing to do with teaching. It's like motorcycling. Motorcycling is not a skill, it's a talent. Some people have, some people don't have. But regardless, all of them are riding motorcycles. So anyway, another tip is just don't get close to them. Don't try to just agitate them. Don't show the fingers. Don't curse. Do not curse them, because if they have anything after the aftermath has happened, I mean, if their fight happened, if you're crashed, if anything, they could use it against you. I mean, depending on the country you're living, they could just say, this guy just provoked me and we come to the fight or whatever. And nothing worth shit these days. The world is too overly populated, and you have to expect lots of these drivers are mental. I mean, they really are mental. So, and some of them are fat, some of them are short, some of them are bulky and tall, and they may even hit you hard. So don't try to don't think just because you're a biker and you have physically riding motorcycle, you're supposed to be fighting with people and winning. There's no winning in a street fight. Everyone loses. You may lose the shirt, but you beat up another guy. So what the hell is going on? And after that, you may have a PTSD over that, whatever happened that day. So nothing worth it. And at the same time, you can't just leave and be passive completely, because you're a human being and you're not going to forgive yourself if someone is bullying you. So try to have a camera, like what the stupid things that I have right now, and film them. And don't show the camera to them, because that would another way to provoke them to start a fight or just make it even crazier. Just act like you're mental too. And another way is funny thing is, let me just see, there could be cops stopping the traffic. If that happened, I have to just hide with the camera or whatever. People are fucking mental. So never mind of that. Anyway, so don't try to teach them, don't try to provoke them, and don't start a fight. Don't show your camera, don't point at your camera, don't show your fingers, don't curse at them. And some of them are just there could be women, there could be elderly, they haven't seen you, or they're just really living in their own world. As I said before, lots of them could be completely mental. So don't try to just think they're just some guy who's just stopping you or bullying you for nothing. Some of them are really mental. Like I was just parked at the curb someday in the middle of the town, and out of nowhere there was this car behind me just constantly honking and honking and honking, non-stoppable. I'm not joking. I just pretend it didn't bother me or whatever, but after just 5 minutes, I'm not joking, 5 minutes, there was this really old woman. It was clearly she was mental, but you can't just argue over this kind of things with the people. So I knew it at the same time, and the car was really old, and you could just assume she has really lots of issues. So not all the road bullies are just happened out of what you may think or what, and some people are just come out of the just some stupid things. That's like they have a crazy culture background, and they don't think in your way, and they don't respect your own laws or traffic laws or any types of laws. And some of the people are just they may have like a pregnant woman in back seats, so you don't know what are they doing. That everyone have or has its own story. Another way this supreme leader is standing. This banner is just dedicated to the Iranian supreme leader. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, so the road bullies are like that, but you can't just be passive, you can't just be completely don't say anything or whatever. And if your country or wherever the hell you're riding for any reason, if there is some sense of justice or law or whatever, you can film it. And if there things just broke down and just something happened, you could use it against that person, and hoping that justice system just serves something for the guy, which really rarely happened. I mean, if you're thinking just by overtaking someone is overtake you and short you, or just even if they just hit and run, if the crash is minor, if things happen, it just doesn't. I mean, it depends on that officer who has to be. I mean, in sense of justice, who has to. I'm looking for a proper word. Never mind. So it depends on that officer. If that law enforcement or whomever you showed your own video in a first hand, just don't give a shit, and he could be completely an asshole himself. So don't expect that guy to just assume. I don't know. I really don't care at the moment. I forgot my own. I've lost the track of my mind. I mean, with this traffic, I'm looking for if there is something, some cup or whatever. Because today was a celebration. It was a 2020 Bahman, which is the Persian date for the Iranian date and the Iranian Revolution date going on. So anyway. Never mind, what was that? Yeah, don't be passive and show that to that officer or whatever, whomever think they would give a damn about your law and order or whatever. But at the same time, don't expect that something happen. I mean, there would be lots of cops are just going after the guy who just bullied you like 10 minutes ago or something. And that woman is fascinating. I mean, lots of these bikers are just coming with their own girlfriend and the weekend and whatever. And they're not necessarily poor. I mean, they're not like delivery bikers, so they have money to spend on their own bikes, and they're coming here to just showing off their own stupid bike with their own stupid girlfriend. And usually the women don't have a hijab or whatever. They're not necessarily respecting the Islamic law. And the traffic filter at this really steep road is just completely nuts. Anyway, so yeah, I'm chilling and shit right at one of the Iranian canyon. I'm going down and don't give a fuck about anything. Yeah, the easing your mind is really the necessary and in these days and these ages, especially with the corona and bullshit like that, and especially whatever happening to the world. I have no idea what it is, but the world is gone completely nuts, and the whole world is becoming Iran. It's just passive way of just accepting the corruption. Anyway, the whole thing is just interesting, and and if you just show that to that officer or whomever, he may care and take a copy and do something about it. But road rage are just some stupid thing. I'm just ranting over this because I actually had another ideas. I mean, really nice ideas to how to keep up with this road raging, especially as I'm living here. Because every day, every moment, every second, at any corner, at any part of the town, you have to road rage with someone, and you have to face with some fuckers who just crash to your bike or just rear-end your bike or just don't give a shit. I mean, lots of people just shoving my bike away when I'm just parked at the corner of the right next to the curb. Oh, fuck that. So there could be lots of possibility. I have experienced all of that, and I'm getting angry. I'm not passive. I'm not compromising with the corruption. I have not doing that. I'm not going to do that, because ever since this community wants, I mean, this is the main sense of the group thinking, collectivist community, collectivist socialist sense of living together. They want you to adapt to whatever the hell is happening, and you do the next unsensible, unreasonable thing they have already done to the others. The camera is getting really old and doesn't keep up with me, and the world is not changing in any way possible. The progress is coming, the progress is going anywhere, but the progress is not for white people or whatever, because you see every community right now living in its own bubbles. And when you're living in your own bubble, it's like that old Persian, the Middle Eastern guy who was living in a bunker like a long time ago, thousands of years ago, and came up out of that bunker and started a religion. So mumbo jumbo starts when group thinking and another way of not actually listening to other side of the story. It's gonna be start stupidity and craziness And when that mass gathering thinking start and move on forward and become bigger and bigger, is becoming like a religion. And at that point, you cannot possibly stop it. It's a nuts